Republican candidates, including our next guest, kicking their campaigns into high gear as they make their pitch to Iowa voters this past weekend. That crowded field grows bigger this week with 3 more expected launches, including former governor of New Jersey, Chris Christie, also the former Vice President Mike Pence, and the governor of the great state of North Dakota. Here with an update on her own campaign, Republican presidential candidate, former governor, former ambassador, Nikki Haley joins us from Des Moines. Nikki, good morning to you.
Good morning.
It's good to have you. So Governor, why are there so many Republicans now in the race? Is that because Joe Biden is beatable? Or is that because there's some uncertainty whether or not Donald Trump would be the nominee? Or is it both?
I think we've got a country to save, and people realize that. And what we know is we have to have a new generational leader. Republicans have lost the last 7 out of 8 popular votes for president, which means we've done something wrong. We should want to win the majority of Americans. And in order to do that, we've got to go in a different direction. And so I think it's really important that we go and we take the policies that President Trump had, but we do it with a different approach. And that different approach has to appeal to more Americans, and it has to be someone who can actually win a general election.
When you say new generational leader, what's the age of that?
Well, it's not what you're seeing in D.C. right now. I can tell you that. That's why I keep saying we
45?
need to have mental competency tests for anyone over 75. You know, I think it's anybody that's got new energy, new blood that can come into the system. I've been a 2-term governor that took a double-digit unemployment state, turned it into an economic powerhouse. I was at the UN and I dealt with 193 countries. We need someone with new experience, new solutions that's really going to get the job done. Americans are tired. They're tired. They want government that's going to work for them. They want to stop all the chaos, stop the negativity, stop the baggage, and actually watch government get things done. That's what I'm determined to do.
You know, one of the things that is making news this morning, it sounds like Saudi Arabia, because they would like to see the price of oil higher. They're going to cut production by 1 million barrels a day just as we approach the summer driving season. And we can do the math. We've seen this movie, Ambassador, and that is our prices are going to go up. And I know on the campaign trail you are critical of the president and his energy policy. So what can be done at this point? Because so far the Saudis have not listened to our POTUS.
Well, the Saudis are not going to listen to Joe Biden because he basically called the crown prince a pariah. That's not what you do. Then he turned around and he went hat in hand to Saudi Arabia, and he's getting dirty oil from Venezuela and from Iran. And so we're getting ready to see gas prices go way up. It is the reason we have to be energy independent in this country. It's the one. There were 2 things that they never wanted us to have at the United Nations. None of our enemies wanted us to have. They didn't want us to have a strong military, and they didn't want us to be energy independent. We have got to get energy independent again. We should never be dependent on any other country to have our energy needs in place. And I think that Biden, when he called him a pariah and then now he's allowed this to happen, we're not going to have any relief. It's going to be a tough summer. Yeah,
it's already been a tough summer for the president. He was out at the Air Force Academy, apparently didn't see that sandbag, and he took a header. And now, on the heels of that, the New York Times comes out with this, essentially a Valentine, talking about, you know, people are worried about his age, but essentially they say the 80-year-old president is sharp, he's fit, he's got striking stamina. What is the New York Times trying to do with that story?
Yeah, I think they're all trying to make up for his flaws. It is very clear. None of us should have celebrated when he fell. That was a horrific thing to have to watch. But what bothers me the most, Steve, is China and Russia and Iran saw that. That's the part that bothers me the most, because when they see weakness like that, that's when they go and get more aggressive. And I think everybody's trying to cover up for him because they think he's the only one that can beat Trump. That's ridiculous. I am telling you, we've got to get past having all of these people that are older in D.C. We've done that long enough. We need term limits. We need mental competency tests for people over the age of 75. I don't care if we do it for people over the age of 50, but these are people that need to be at the top of their game. They're making decisions on our national security. They're making decisions on our children's economic future. We can't continue down this path. And let's be very clear. if they think it's going to be President Biden, a vote for President Biden is actually a vote for President Harris. We are running against Kamala Harris. Make no bones about it. The New York Times knows it. Every liberal knows it. They know that it's Kamala Harris that's going to end up being president of the United States if Joe Biden wins this election.
Well, she's running for president of the United States, Nikki Haley, in the state of my birth, Iowa. And Governor, how many hands would you estimate you've shaken just in the last weekend?
I don't know how many hands, but I know we've done well over 25 events in Iowa. We've done almost 30 events in New Hampshire. We've done a lot in South Carolina. And we're going to keep on going. We've got a country to save. Go to NikkiHaley.com. All
right. Ambassador, Governor Nikki, thank you very much.
Thanks.
I'm Steve Doocy.
I'm Brian Kilmeade.
And I'm Ainsley Earhart. And click here to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page to catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis.